that was one of the first questions I wanted to ask you was, obviously it pains me to see the Cubs win in any form, being a Cardinal fan, but since the World Series win, have you noticed a big uptick in the references to that movie or something?
I guess, yes, they've kind of always existed. The film has kind of become a cult classic. I never would have guessed. And it's the 25th anniversary this year, which is kind of crazy.
Doesn't make us feel old at all, man.
No. But, I think what I'm very thankful for is that in the interim of that 25 years, I did the American Pie franchise, because I think that I'd probably be a pretty messed up person right now if I only had Henry Rowan Gardner as the feather in my cap.
Sure.
I'd probably, I don't want to compare myself to some of my peers, but we know who they are.
Exactly.
Sure. So we are from Springfield, Illinois, and I know that you have a connection with Dumb Records, Southtown, all of that. You've recorded a song there, right?
I haven't recorded at Southtown, but we shot a music video there at Southtown. Right. So we were in Black Sheep doing some of the band performance stuff, and then obviously in Dumb Records and just around Southtown and kind of the back area. That's where we threw the shoes up onto the wire. Hopefully they're still there. And my lead guitarist is from Springfield, Illinois, Matt Kennedy, who was in The Graduate, and now he's back in The Dangerous Summer, so they're touring around on their new record right now.
That's fantastic. So on our podcast, I'm the guy that does the Disney stuff. So I saw Walt Before Mickey, wonderful job. What kind of is there any kind of added pressure in portraying someone like Walt Disney? It's like you and Tom Hanks. You're the two that have done it, right?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. Yes, there was pressure. I had a lot of time to prepare. I got the call, and they said, do you want to play, Walt Disney? I was like, of course, that'd be an honor. No, they said, great, you start next week.
Excellent.
No way.
So that was the start date. So I had 5 days at home before I had to get on a plane. So I read the book, Walt Before Mickey, as fast as I could. And then I watched Saving Mr. Banks. And I thought, this isn't right. This is the Walt. I thought Tom Hanks did a great job. But that's the Walt that I know, that I grew up with, the one that I watched on, the afternoon in a blue cardigan introducing Winnie the Pooh cartoons, And I realized, okay, I'm, in my late 30s. So when I was in my early 20s, I was a completely different, driven force. So I kind of just, latched onto that idea of what Walt would have been like when he was building something that was nothing, that no one believed in. Because obviously everyone knows what it is now, but I had no idea that he had failed and gone bankrupt in Kansas City and moved out to California with $40 to his name, which would be the equivalent of $300? What would $300 get you now?
Right,
nothing.
in LA.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a scene where you have to go and eat something out of the garbage. And it's just that acting, just well done on that, because it was fantastic. Great job acting that scene out for sure. But I know you got small kids, so I'm sure you watch some Disney movies. I got to ask, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Wow, there's a lot of favorites. I go back. My personal favorite has always been Robin Hood. I don't know why, but I love that. I love Robin Hood. My son likes it as well. My son and my daughter have seen pretty much every Disney film, Disney cartoon.
You've seen Moana a couple times.
Once or 200 times, yeah.
For sure.
So you mentioned about American Pie, and that is coming up on, I think, 20 years next year.
Next year, yeah.
And what's really fascinating to me about that franchise is it came out of nowhere, and it kind of redefined so many things. If you don't have American Pie, you don't get The Hangover or Bridesmaids or any of these other great movies. Reflecting on that, do you see that thread, and does it make you feel even more proud of that?
It's lightning in a bottle, and I think it's sort of the combination of all of the cast and obviously the writing, and it was there in the begining, and you can't really design lightning in a bottle. It either happens or it doesn't. So I'm very thankful that I am a part of that. Yeah. And now I'm still hopeful that there's gonna, maybe, you never know, be another one. But I'm obviously staying very busy producing some of my own things now. So American Pie and the success of that has afforded me the opportunity and opened up a lot of doors for me to do that. And I have a film. It's opening weekend this weekend. We're in select theaters nationwide today.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. Living Among Us. I looked it up because I really want to I love horror-based stuff. I'm kind of that on our network. But this looks like something like if you liked What We Do in the Shadows, that you would love this kind of a movie.
It's funny. Everyone keeps bringing up What We Do in the Shadows. We actually, truth be told, we shot this in 2013.
Well, there you go.
Which was before What We Do in the Shadows.
So you have a beef with Taika Waititi then?
No, I don't have a beef. Theirs is actually more of a satire.
Yes.
And ours, we were asked to do, Brian A. Metcalf, the writer-director, my producing partner with Red Compass Media, we were asked to do a found footage type of movie, but with a well-known cast.
Okay.
And we were like, well, how do we make that work?
Yeah.
And so Brian decided to kind of go back to roots and get inspired by French New Wave films.
Okay.
And so that's why we decided, yes, we were going found footage style, but with a well-known cast, it's more of a movie within a movie.
Yeah.
And so you're aware of the filmmaking process, and that's why he chose us to be documentarians. And then he wanted this twist on vampires.
Yeah.
So he decided to make it about vampires because there hadn't been a found footage style movie on vampires. So he researched it and discovered, which I didn't know, cutaneous porphyria is the real vampire's disease that exists.
Oh, wow.
We actually had 2 people at the premiere last night in LA that suffer from this actual disease.
Wow, really?
The first notated case is King George III in the early 1800s, and this is the basis of the vampire mythos. Okay, so what is the disease? It's the low red blood cell count.
Okay.
What do you do? What happens? You suffer fatigue if you have a low red blood cell count. So how do you combat fatigue? You get new albumin. How do you do that? IVs. King George III didn't have IVs, so what did he do? He drank blood.
There it is.
So there is the basis. They also have, sensitivity to UV rays, recessed gums that give the appearance of fangs. So every vampire mythos is based on essentially science, but they just embellish that for entertainment.
Wow. So Front Row Network people, Thomas Ian Nicholas just proved. He just proved vampires.